Hi guys, welcome to another iWIN Live. I am home, back in Florida, and so Roscoe, who had his hair cut, decided to join us and at least say hello. He's missed me. So tonight, we're gonna do a Q&A. We are also we're going to talk briefly a little bit about a story that happened to me on the way home that I thought I would share, and I think you'll be able to relate to it or at least apply it to possibly sweepstakes trips. And then, every time I go to a convention, I always. You went down? Or you're just happy to see me still? Yeah? Okay. So say goodbye to everyone for now. Show them your new haircut. All right. So, anyways, I know that a lot of you guys give me little gifts or trinkets, maybe from something you won, as far as maybe a trip. You bring me back something. So there's always little fun things that you guys do, and I really appreciate it. Don't ever feel like it's needed or expected, but I thought I'd show kind of just a few of those tonight. I thought it was kind of fun. This being one of them. Let's see, I'm going to, hopefully, I'm trying a little bit different setup, so I'm kind of seeing how the sound and everything, the quality goes. Trying to talk a little bit louder, so hopefully that is going on. First off, as always, thanks for your patience during convention week. I only received one hate mail, and I don't think the person realized, which I get it. If you know nothing about sweepstakes convention or you're new, you're just kind of wondering, hey, why is the content a little weak on the site over the last few days? So I get it. I totally understand it and respect it. I'm doing my best to get caught up, but give me a couple days here. I'm working. I'll continue working after this live tonight and getting some more content, some sweeps posted. We'll go back to doing what iWIN members do day in and day out, and that is just dominating the win list. I appreciate you guys watching all the lives. I know some of them were really good. Some of them weren't. You try things and you don't know what's going to work and you don't know what's not. Some of you guys saw, though, yesterday, I gave you this code, this AZ Live. And I said I'd shut it down last night when I got home. Well, by the time I got home, it was like 3 a.m. I didn't shut it down this morning, so if you're watching this, you're going to get the benefit of one more day with this. So AZ Live, I will not shut this down till I go to bed tonight. It will get you an extra free month to any renewal or new subscription, 1 or 2 years. Okay, 1 or 2 years. You use this code, it automatically adds it. Basically, when you're all set, you click 1, you click 2 years. There's a little spot that says discount code. You click that. You type in AZ Live. You hit apply. It's going to automatically give you an extra month when you finish checking out. So if you have problems with it, which I know some of you guys for some reason can't find it, you can always email me and then I'll make sure it gets taken care of. But don't email me, ask me tomorrow. I forgot. I didn't get to it in time. When I go to bed tonight, so I would say tell yourself by midnight tonight, okay? Midnight Eastern time tonight. I will probably be up maybe just slightly later than that, but once I shut down, then it's done. And you guys know I don't do the discounts too often. I just don't need to. So more people would rather I raise prices, as you guys know. So take advantage of that if you want. I know some of you guys already did. Convention questions, okay? If you have questions on the convention, let's use those all tomorrow night. So tomorrow night 8, we're going to really focus on this year's convention. We're going to talk about Manchester for next year. We'll even talk about a little bit about some of the ideas that have been kicked around for 2023. So we'll talk about that. So if you have sweepstakes questions in general, go ahead and fill those out. But first I want to start with the story. And then I'll show you some of the little interesting things that people gave me in Scottsdale. So here's my story. So I flew home yesterday night. I had direct flight on Southwest. I was actually with a member and a friend who lives not too far. Her and her husband were on my same flight, so we all flew together, and I was actually dropping them off on my way home. So we land in Orlando. It's about 12:30. I used an off-site parking company, which is who I usually use when I park. We go downstairs. We get our luggage. We go out to where the parking shuttles pick you up. There's 7 or 8 different companies that will take you to the off-site lots, and so they have a little area, and they're not labeled individually. It's like off-site parking lots, and you have about 5 or 6 spots. I had tried calling before because they are, at least over the past few months, they've been running less shuttles, so they want to call when you're there. Um, Phone just rang and rang and rang and then disconnected. Does it again, disconnects it. So I was like, no big deal. We'll go outside. We go outside, and I see it. I was like, oh, there's our shuttle. So we're hurrying with our bags, and we get closer, and we realize that the bus is basically all full, and these are like the little buses. Not like a big bus. They hold maybe, I don't know, a dozen, 15 people, and there's at least 25, 30 people in line for that particular bus still. So I've had this happen once before, same company. It doesn't happen too often. They're actually pretty good, which is why I use them. And I was like, this is going to be a disaster. This is just going to be a long time. So, we're sitting there, and the problem is, so once the bus pulls away, you still have people coming out. So you have this big area, and now these people are still waiting in line in that spot. Well, the next shuttle that comes may park 3 spots down, and all the people that just come out are now going to go there, and these people have been here first waiting are going to try and run over there, and it's going to create arguments. And so there's literally 100+ people waiting now in a matter of 15 minutes. And granted, they're not all waiting for that company. They're waiting for various ones, but nobody knows who's waiting for what company. There's no real specific line. So I've seen it get a little bit ugly over time, just the last time that I dealt with this. So I decided that, hey, maybe we should just call Uber or Lyft and take that over to the parking. I was like, how much could it be? $8, $10, but it's better than maybe waiting an hour here. I look it up, and it's like $28, $30 or whatever. And this is literally like a mile or two down the road, 3 miles. I don't even know, but it's very, very close to the airport. So I was like, oh, I don't know if it's worth that. So we'll wait a few more minutes, and no bus even shows up, and there's just now more and more people coming. I'm like, this is just going to be a disaster. Well, I'm also forgetting that we have a lot of luggage. We had stuff from the convention, so between us, we have, I don't even know how many suitcases, 5, 6 suitcases, plus backpacks and everything else. So, we can't really have the Toyota Prius show up and take us over there. So we need to order a bigger vehicle. It's like, I don't know if it's $32 or whatever. It was something like that to get a bigger van or a bigger vehicle. And I just said, you know what? We're going to be here an hour to 2 hours or so. Let's just order this. So that's what we did. We ordered it. We go over there, and now we weren't even sure if they would let the Uber driver take us to our vehicle. We were afraid they'd drop us off at the front, and we were planning on I would just go get the car and then come up front and then pick everyone's luggage up. But the lady was really nice and said, yeah, no problem at all. We're sorry. We're really short. Go ahead and let's do this. So Uber driver's great, takes us right to our car. We load up our car. We get out of there. The turnpike's closed, because the turnpike does work overnight in Florida, which we kind of expected. So that adds time to our route and changes things. But as we're pulling out, we one, the Uber driver told us the turnpike was going to be closed, which we asked because I had a feeling it probably was. But we asked the gate attendant, what's going on, and she's just like, I'm sorry. It was literally her and a bus driver, and that's it. Um, that's all they had on staff for Orlando Airport and one of the biggest offsite car rental companies. I'm not going to slam them. I'm not going to throw their name under the bus because, I was nice to her. There was no reason to get upset at that point at her because one, there probably wasn't anything she was going to be able to do about it. Two, I was starting to wonder what if she quits and just walks off the job? What if all that's left is the bus driver? That's really going to be a mess. But I knew that she was going to have probably a really long night with all these people coming over and complaining. And it got me thinking about sweepers and going on trips and things that go wrong. It happens. So, somebody asked about the flyer the 15th. That's for people at the convention. That's a little bit different. So, just in the FYI, Beverly. So, we leave, we go home and everything, and obviously, I'm just going to send the manager a quick little email this morning, and I did. I sent her a quick email and said, hey, here's the situation. I ended up paying $30-some for the Uber. Obviously, I'm sure you were aware of the situation. I'm sure you've probably had some hate mail about it today. Your cashier was really wonderful. She was really apologetic and everything. And I know that this is a misstep that doesn't normally happen with your company. But I think it would be fair if you would credit my account some free days to cover the costs that I spent on the Uber. We're going to park with you. I have 2 more trips scheduled this month. I'm going to be parking there. I just think that's fair. And within, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours or so, I got a nice email back and basically said that. Said, I'm sorry. We're really short staffed right now. We're trying our best, but I totally get it. I understand. I appreciate your patience. And I added a comp week to your account. You get points for staying with them. And so, the week was more than sufficient to cover what I spent on the Uber, and I didn't have to wait 2 hours. But I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it is how I handled the situation. And I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset because that was going to do nothing. Yelling at this person or getting upset with them wasn't going to build buses to get me there any quicker. And at this point, I'm already home. They know what happened. They saw it to 100 other people. This wasn't something that just happened to me. So I think sometimes, you give someone the benefit of the doubt and you be nice about it because you just don't know. You don't know the situation, and a lot of times they're going to surprise you and they're going to go over and above and take care of you. So think about that when you're on trips. I thought it really related for that. We were talking amongst ourselves, some of the various sweepers, and we were thinking, maybe a trips gone bad segment at a convention in the future might be interesting. Somebody said shuttle flight, and that's what it gets to be. And I get it. I mean, you've been waiting there. You've just flown cross country, and you've now been standing there an hour plus waiting to get on the shuttle. And you're standing over here, and the shuttle goes over there, and all these people go on it, and you miss it. And now you're over here, and the next shuttle comes over here. There's no organization. And, again, there's at least 7 different companies. So anyone can be parked anywhere at the time. So, again, just kind of remember that going on. I think kindness goes a long way, especially in this day and age. And hopefully you take it. I thought it might relate to some of the situations maybe you guys have been in. Maybe we'll think about it. Let's see. So I see some questions coming in. I will get to those. Let me show you some fun little things that I got. We'll start with the cup. So I normally travel when I'm going to be gone for a few days with a Yeti cup. I like having it. I like having ice in my cup. Somebody asked if I was drinking the night that I was doing the ducks or unicorns out in the pool. No, I was tired drunk maybe, but no, not even a drop of alcohol in my system. Some of you guys know I actually very, very rarely drink, but I do drink a lot of like water, iced tea, sparkling water, things like that. But no, I can't claim that. Now, some of the other people or the person who maybe found that unicorn were probably definitely enjoying a few adult beverages. I will say that. These were the convention bags. So this was actually artwork that I had made, and I actually had these bags made for the convention. It was part of the donation I did for the convention. But one of their club members, one of their club members actually, what they were doing was they were putting your names on. It was I think it was like $3 or something. I was trying to find. Let's see. Saguaro. The Saguaro Club in Arizona. We'll see if I finally did it right. I'm sure I'll hear it one way or another. But anyways, they were doing these bags, so they made me a Roscoe bag, which was kind of fun because I usually save these bags that are done with the artwork. I like to have one of each one that we've done. We've done a couple of them now. So somebody asked to see that again, I think. So this was the artwork. You can kind of see it. And then they used one of the cry cut machines to do the names, and the names are done like a cactus. So like cactus lettering, you can see. And they even added the little heart and paw print. So thank you for that. That was really cool, and I appreciate that. And I apologize to you if I missed someone or I missed someone's name that handed me something, or maybe had something edible that's no longer here. Someone made raisin cookies, and I gotta admit, I am not a raisin cookie person. I am a cookie person, as some of you guys probably have noticed. But they were phenomenal. They were absolutely phenomenal. So those were great. This, I saw it. Todd was next to me, and it's a tracker for smartphones and keys. And I wanted to try it out. I thought it was kind of cool. So Todd gave me that. These are kind of fun. It's got my name on it, as you guys can see. Every convention, you usually have a banquet table, and a lot of you guys play fun games and contests. So someone had got bells for all our table, and with our names on it. So that was a neat little idea. I appreciate that. And then we had these little favors. These were the favors on our table. You can almost see them. They're cactus candles. Speaking of cactus candles, or cactuses in general, Renee Wernicke's husband is the cookie baker, and he's phenomenal. So you can find him online maybe and order those raisin cookies to your house. And if I get him enough sales, you guys know I don't do referral or affiliate links, but I might have to start if this guy is selling his cookies and I'm sending people to him. I don't want paid. I just want him to send me a batch of them because they're really, really good. Somebody told me Nicole Snyder. Nicole Snyder and her mom were the ones who did the bells. So I appreciate that. Shout out to them. Now somebody said electronics have to be examined at the airport. It depends. You can be randomly selected. You can be tested. TSA still has the big electronics have to come out of your bags, but I have TSA pre-check. A lot of people do, and then you don't have to take anything out of your bag. It works much, much easier, but you can still be randomly selected to have more of a more in-depth search. So that does happen. Some of you guys know I am from Ohio, the Buckeye State, and Miss Morris brought me a lucky Buckeye. I appreciate that. But anyways, I was talking about my cactus. You guys didn't like my lucky cactus idea. And these are what they were. These were the 30 commemorative items that I had. And I thought, when the vendor doors opened, and there was the big rush of people like it was Black Friday to my table, that you guys all wanted the cactuses. And they were going to be gone in minutes. And some of you were there for that. That's what you wanted. You wanted to pick out your lucky cactus. But most of you knew that I had 160 prizes with some scratch-offs. And so you wanted those. You've come to a lot of conventions to know that they don't last. And why there's some very small prizes, there are also a lot of very, very nice prizes. And it's just, it's luck of the draw. So if you ever come to a convention, you want to be aware of that. If I do those, I don't always do them, but I usually give you a heads up if I do them. They sold out in 53 minutes this year. So that is the new record. 53 minutes, they were gone. And everyone's like, well, why don't you keep making more? I don't, because I like to have a large amount of prizes to be able to give, and I couldn't bring enough prizes to have more and more tickets. It just doesn't make sense. This was this was given out by next year's convention. These are kind of cool. They're those things that you put in your cup holder in your car. So if your cup sweats, kind of collects them. Some of them are like, this one's kind of made of a rubber material. Some of them are more the stone materials. So somebody's home. This someone brought me. Kind of fun. They thought I could use this for a future contest, and I can guarantee at some point you will see this in an entry. It will be going to the prop box. Appreciate that. Had a black moonstone. And black moonstone has some meaning and whatnot, but they brought it up and explained it to me. And so, Marie, I thank you for this. I appreciate that. Kind of a fun little item. A travel Kleenex pack for Disney. So that's kind of cool. Marasco made you jump. Sorry about that. Yeah, he made me jump. I didn't even know he was still laying around here. He thinks I have more treats, I think it is. So I am going to replant this cactus in something bigger. And it's going to be as big as those other ones. You wait. I'll show you in a future live. So hopefully it lives. But I brought mine back on the plane. I used this little container. I wrapped it up in a damp towel just in case, because I was a little worried, it'd be really warm in here. I sealed it. I had no problem at all. Somebody had checked ahead of time and said TSA is no problem getting them through. Now, somebody asked me about state regulations and agriculture. Each state's a little bit different. So, somebody said California has really strict ones. Yeah, so no, it's not a plastic cactus. It's very real. And this was the one I picked out. There was about 5 different kinds. And they're pricky, to say the least. Some people definitely got pricked. Well, somebody said they did theirs in a deli box. I think they're super cool. Some people thought they were super cool, but they lasted the whole convention. Then I finally got rid of the last couple. I donated a couple to give away and different things, but I thought it would be a fun item to take home. A lot of people were really concerned again about taking them home on the plane. Oh, somebody asked for the code again. So the convention again had some different specials. This is for people mainly who were not at the convention, watching at home. But if you're at the convention, you're welcome to use this too still today. It's AZ Live, and that's a renewal or a subscription. It'll add 1 month on. Every convention I do different things for convention attendees specifically. So you should have had a flyer in your welcome bag, and that is for convention attendees specifically, and some various different things that we were doing during the convention, and while you were there. Let's see what else we got. So these Reese cups. More importantly, Reese cups with prizes, because they have codes inside, and I couldn't find these. I was having a hard time. So someone actually brought me 3 of these. These 2 will be going to Lee, minus the wrappers, because she loves them. They're her favorite. Somebody sitting next to me decided they were their favorite also, and I agreed to let them have them, providing I got the wrapper, which as soon as I got the wrapper, I entered the code and won another pack of Reese's. So I'll be getting a coupon for one of those. Let's see, I think this is, I got 2 more items. This actually wasn't given to me in Arizona, but it arrived. And I want to thank Patty for it. So, some of you guys know I'm a little bit of a soccer fan, and this is a Miami FC scarf. And soccer teams have scarves. They're not meant to like wear like a scarf. They're more like a cheering, rallying thing if you follow soccer. So she had won this for the new team that's in Miami for the MLS, and sent it my way. So thank you to Patty. And then lastly, this was kind of a neat item that they gave me as a thank you for emceeing. And some of you guys won these because they gave them out. But a neat little, I guess you could call it a cutting board. But I don't plan on using it as a cutting board. It kind of has the whole state of Arizona. And my plan is to actually hang it up in my office. So thank you on that. Let's talk about questions. So let's go back here. And let's see, and I'm trying to see how far back I can scroll. So if I missed your question or I don't get to it, feel free to ask it again. I'll do my best to get to as many as I can. I know somebody, if you asked a question very early, I might not be able to scroll back that far. Oh, somebody else was delayed, got $100 from Southwest. Somebody's driving to New Hampshire. Is that the pool water you're drinking? No, what do I have? I have Crystal Light iced tea and ice. That's the drink of choice. What was the answer to the late night unicorn duck family? That was super challenging. So it was only challenging if you didn't watch. Now, I forgot some people were getting up for the hot air balloon ride or just stayed up. So it was designed to run about an hour and reward someone who did watch it. So there were 4 ducks, unicorns, whatever you want to call them. Everyone called them different things all week. And the first ones, name was Bob. The second one, their name was it Lula? Was Lula number 2? Tracy 3? RJ 4? I believe that's what it was. What you had to do was take the first letter of each one of their first names and just use those 4 letters. That was the discount code. And that got you a free iWIN membership. So if you did that all, you got the free iWIN membership. But there were some other, memberships that I gave out throughout the broadcast for those who tuned in, because it was probably the most boring iWIN live in history. There was no talking. It was just unicorns, unicorn ducks, and products and different things. I was trying to do various different creative things to interact with you guys, especially the ones still at home, and start thinking about next year's convention, because next year will be kind of an option. You can stay home in your PJs and do it virtually. You can go in person. So you're going to have a mixture of both. So I was kind of playing with some things to think ahead for next year. And there were some things like I wanted to do those iWIN Fast 5. And I got a couple of you guys done. I just was always so busy and being pulled in so many directions that even the ones I did, and the people who did them with me, I appreciate, but they knew that I'd be like, okay, let's stop, let's do it real quick, and we'll do one. They were really, really challenging. The other thing you can do with your electronics a lot of times is check them. If you have a checked bag, I know some people don't want to check them. I'm glad some of you guys like the cactuses. Thanks for finding your sweater. I didn't find your sweater, but somebody grabbed it. Somebody grabbed it and brought it up to me, and so we were glad that we were able to get back to you. We did a meet and greet at the convention. We'll talk a little more about that yesterday. Very, very well attended. We actually had to bring in, I think it was 110 extra chairs to the room is what we had to bring in. Can't say thanks enough for all the support. A Bush Brett Michaels hat. I have a Bud Light one too, and those things come in handy. What are you doing next year with no vendors? So they are having vendors. So just a heads up, there are still vendors next year. So I plan on being there. I plan on being a vendor. So they have some different rules with being a vendor, but you're still going to have vendors. I will still be a vendor. I don't know if I have a green thumb. I do have this plant. I'll have to show it to you one day. I bought it very early on when I started my job as a healthcare recruiter. In the first office, it was maybe like this big, and so I bought it, and because it said it was a money tree, and I still have the little stick that came with it. It told you what it was and how to care for it. And I started, watering it, taking care of it, stayed in my office. We moved offices, I don't even know how many times, and I would move from office to office. I would take it with me. And then when I came down to Florida, it was funny because people in the office knew I had that tree in my office forever, and it was now much bigger. And so I brought this. I fit it in the car. It was, I don't even remember if we put it in the back seat, like it was wrapped around and above Roscoe's head because he rode in the passenger side. This thing was huge, and it's got even bigger now since I've been down in Florida. It is taller than my ceiling. It hits the ceiling and goes out. But it's my favorite plant. It's the only plant I have, and now I have this cactus. So we'll see. Let's see. Not sure if this question is for tomorrow. Curious to know if the TikTok girl in one of your iWIN lives discussed the amount of winnings she's having on that platform. Oh, the girl who spoke. I assume you're asking about. I know Rachel covered TikTok. Um, I don't think she has, and I don't know the answer to that. You might want to check with with her directly. I assume that's who you're referring to. What did I learn from this convention? Um, I learned some things about conventions that will probably adjust or change moving forward. I think we do that every convention, even myself. Um, I learned a new searching platform that was talked about during the convention that I had not tried. I'm going to try and do that. Um, I had a little disadvantage, and part of it was my own problem. Was some of you guys notice a lot of times when someone was up speaking, and no disrespect to them, but that's when I would step out or step aside, get something to drink, use the restroom, maybe talk with the hosts, just to see where we were at time wise, schedule wise, and adjusting that. So there were things I missed that I probably would have liked to hear, um, but it's just part of being part of helping with the convention. You're going to miss things. But that is one thing that I did learn, and I still do believe you learn something from every convention. You know, I learned how to do different lives and different things like that. So I will. Oops, I wanted to check one thing. Yep. Um, I learned what did and didn't work. I learned that recording on my phone, going back and watching some of it, you can't really hear sometimes when I'm recording someone. So I might need a better option for that. I learned that some of you guys saw with Grayson, the 5-year-old upcoming sweeper or TikTok star, whatever he is going to be. Uh, it was very dark out. I didn't realize it was as dark on video as it was because we had a good view and we could see, and it was still light out, but it made it look a lot darker. So some of it was not just sweeper related, but iWIN business related as well. I need to take another searching class. Will you have one again? I will be doing all the classes one more time this year. That is in the fall. They start in September. So Instagram, TikTok, searching, skill, 30 things every sweeper should know. Those are, and understanding odds. Those are all available in the fall. If you signed up over the last few days, probably in a couple weeks I'll go through and get those invites started to send out. But you still have plenty of time. I mean, you have over a month. None of them are full as of yet. Typically the fall is a lot easier to get in. January, when I do them in January, if I do them in January, are the ones that everyone wants to get going, learn a new skill, going to have a great year. Those I usually end up selling out, just because I always try and keep those. I try and keep the number of people in a class very, very small, 10, 15 people, just so you guys can get the most out of it, ask questions, etc. When a social sweep asks you to tag 3 people, do you tag all of them on one line if they don't specify on separate lines? I do. So if it asks me, I'm going to tag all 3 of them. I don't do a lot of tagging sweeps. Kind of a pain. A lot of them don't have rules. A lot of them are on social media. I'll do certain ones that I know pick winners and pick random winners. and maybe it's a product I love or want, but I'm not one of those people who are going to sit here and do 20, 30 tagging sweeps or more in a day. It's just not my focus. There's much better things to focus on, in my opinion. Uniducks. That's good, Bill. I like Uniducks. Oh, here we go. See, I could count on Mike to come through with this answer because he probably was awake watching it, wondering what in the world I was doing. Bob, Lola, Tracy, RJ. Bob, Lola, Tracy, RJ. And I use those for different things throughout the week and asking questions. And some people got them right and they got bonus gift cards, and some people didn't. So props to Mr. Star Wars. I will have to get you a gift card next time I see you in person. I look forward to seeing you in person. So hit me up and I will have a Starbucks gift card for you. And if I don't, I'll at least buy you Starbucks when I'm there and we catch up. So props to him on that. When a sweep gives you a choice of mail in or online, is one way better than another, or do you mix up the entries? It depends who's doing it. 98% of the time or more, if I can enter online versus mail-in, I'm entering online. And the reason is I'm not paying to enter online where I have to use a stamp to enter by mail. So in my opinion, like for example, there's a lot of text sweeps that say, if you don't have text access, you can mail an entry in. I have never mailed a mail-in entry for one of those, and I never will, as long as all I have to do is text a code and enter. Now, if I have to text a receipt, well, sure, then I might mail in for it because maybe I don't have that receipt. Maybe I don't plan on going to this place and buying whatever product it is. But if it is just enter online, enter by mail, I know there are people out there, and it's usually people who've been doing this for a long time. But I think you are literally flushing your money down the toilet. I think you are better off just entering online. I think it makes zero sense whatsoever. So I'm sure there'll be people who disagree with me. And again, I respect that. I'm not up here claiming that everything I tell you is 1,000% right. But there are times where I will tell you to mail in. We just had one. We had a member win a boat. Not only did they win a boat, they won a boat during the convention while I was up on stage and said, I just won a boat. And this was an hour or so after another iWIN member said, we just won a trip to Hawaii. So anyone who was at the convention saw both of these things happen and then saw a person win $1,000 from a sweepstakes, all within a matter of hours, all three of them iWIN members, all three of them iWIN sweepstakes. But this one, the one on the boat was interesting, and we had a ton of winners from the sweep, not just the grand prize, but other prizes as well. Somebody handed me a note, and I didn't even say it during the convention because I'm up there as an impartial MC. I'm not up there to do an infomercial for iWIN. So I didn't think it was appropriate to announce that we had three of the first prize winners too. When I'm live doing an iWIN, it's a little bit different. But the boat, I didn't even announce it during the convention that this was an iWIN member from iWIN. But now I can tell you that it was a mail-in entry. It was one that I specifically said, nobody is going to find these silly cans. Enter by mail. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because I'm sure all you guys can find one or two or three or more that I whiffed on. And it's going to happen. So if you have a different opinion than I do, and you say, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot, I'm going to mail for that, then do it. You're not hurting my feelings. I'm trying to give you my best advice to help you win. Hopefully, more times than not, it's going to be correct. But there will be times it'll be incorrect. We've seen it happen that I've suggested a certain way and we didn't. Um, we just had one where I suggested don't worry about the the magic flavor and figuring it out, because we'll figure it out, and why enter by mail when we'll have it figured out sooner than later, and then we can just enter the correct flavor the rest of the time. Well, I think there's some of us who still don't know what in the world the flavor is. So maybe that was one to take the shot in mail to guarantee that you were going to get an entry every day. I didn't. So I also don't, whatever I tell you, I don't go against what I tell you. So if I say, hey, you know what, don't mail for this, I'm not going to go and turn around and mail 1020. Or if for some reason I get information that changes, then I'm going to update that and I'm going to say, hey, look, you know what, I now know this, or I looked at this, or somebody gave me a different opinion, so I'm sharing it with you because it's new information. That's the iWIN difference. Any other site, like on that one with the boat, they're just going to give you the sweep. Here you go. Figure it out. Go look for cans, mail, whatever. They don't tell you the advice because, why? Most of them don't enter. They don't understand the sweepstakes part, and it is what it is. They're different business models. Man, you guys got a lot of flight delays. How are you guys talking about flight delays? Yes, I paid the ransom for the unicorn ducks. What state do I live in? So I currently live in Florida. Some of you guys know that. I'm from Ohio. Lived in Ohio most of my life. I have lived in Southern California for a short time, and Fairfax, Virginia for a short time with work. So those were when I was younger. I moved around, and then I was in Ohio for that's where I was born. I was in there for quite a long time. Moved to California, moved to DC, moved back to Ohio, and then a few years back moved down to Florida, which is where I'm at now. How many people were at the convention? They gave us the total, because of the circumstances and whatnot. This was actually one of the smallest national conventions we've had in the 11 years that I've attended. So obviously, I think if circumstances were different, it would have been much bigger. But they had just under 400, I believe. I forget the exact number, maybe 370, 380. But then there were also registered guests, and I want to say there were 40 or 50 registered guests. You could have a guest and pay for a guest ticket, and they were allowed to attend the meet and greet, and they were also allowed to attend the banquet. And I believe there was a special door prize for them, or they got a little bag or something like that. I think they got some of these bags as well. Will I be doing a meet and greet in New Hampshire? If yes, will virtual attendees be able to tune in? So I don't run any of the conventions, as some of you know, some of you don't, or some of you found out this week. Example, the Arizona Club, I'm not going to try it again, but the Arizona Club and Paul and Karen, they were in charge of this one. Really, Paul and Karen, and then they have the support of their club. They decide where the convention's going to be, who's going to speak, who's going to MC, what's going to go on, what door prizes are going to be given away, just things like that. They decide everything, which food you're going to eat. That's their decision. Now, they may ask for input from myself or various other people, their club, etc. So I don't have a good answer. Obviously, I have a very good relationship with the Byron family. I've helped with their conventions in the past. I imagine I will do something, but it's their decision. If they say, Tom, we'd like you to do this, or we'd like you to do this, then I can make that decision to do it or not. My guess is we will do some sort of meet and greet. It depends on space and what they have, but we will try to. I will ask them, but a lot of it comes down to space. It's not even them saying, no, Tom, you can't do this. It's They may just not have the time or the space. If we do, then yes, we will try to also have a virtual piece of that. Again, do you have the right equipment? Will there be Wi-Fi? Will the connection be good enough? There's a lot of questions that need answered. So I appreciate the question because it's a good thing to think about, as I'll be discussing with them for various things. So I'll bring it up. But yeah, my hope would be yes, but I can't promise. But I also want you to know that if we don't, it's not because I didn't want to do it, and it's also not because they said, hey, you can't do it. It's sometimes logistics on these things just don't work out. Can I talk about what's in the vendor room? For those who have not been able to go, don't know what it is. So a lot of people still do mail-in sweepstakes. So there's envelopes, there's 3x5 cards, I didn't get a chance to walk around and look at everything, but there's other sites like myself that may come, and they may pitch their little different ideas, etc. Some people have like Lucky Wear gear. They may sell shirts, they may sell hats, they may sell like little clovers, like the clover head things. It's really all kinds of different things, but it's a lot of paper products. I made this suggestion. There's one person in particular. I don't know if anyone else sells them, but one person in particular always sells number 9 envelopes, and it came up actually at the meet and greet. Somebody asked a question about this, and one of the things I learned before I ever had iWIN was I didn't know about mail-ins when I first started attending a convention. So when I attended a convention, I learned a little bit about mail-ins. Well, I learned about what a number 10 envelope was. I had no idea. I didn't know what a number 10 envelope was. I didn't mail anything. So I was talking to this person, and they had number 9 envelopes. I'm like, why would you have a number 9 envelopes? I've never seen anything require a number 9 envelope. And they said, well, what you can do, because so many mail-ins, you're mailing in a self-addressed stamped envelope for codes, is you have a number 9 envelope. Well, number 9 envelope fits very nicely inside a number 10 envelope. You put your name, your address, and everything, and you don't have to bend it and try and fit it in the envelope. It stays nice and neat. You send it off, and they send it back to you. So that's one of the things very early on that I learned at a convention before iWIN ever existed. Well, every year at the convention, I would usually buy another pack or two from this specific person. Another place sells kind of like heavy-duty type envelopes. I happen to like their yellow heavy-duty envelopes. I use them a lot for local mail-ins, specifically. Not ones that I know is just going to get opened up and entered into a dead entry, but one that maybe is a hand-picked one. Now, some of it's guessing, some of it's just intuition, but I like those envelopes specifically, so I usually pick some of those up. Things like that, as an example. Did I pick the winners from How I Win? Somebody asking about How I Win. How I Win is a thing for iWIN members. I will talk about that and reveal those in Thursday's issue. So Thursday's issue, I have to tell you, I have not. There's a judged portion of it, as some of you guys know. There's some funny, amazing entries. We've had custom shirts made. We've had TikTok videos pretending to be me. We've had someone dress up like Roscoe. I gotta tell you, I mean, every year we've been doing this contest, I am blown away by the creativity. I have not had a chance to look at them. Or look at them all, I should say. So by Thursday's issue, I will reveal all those. So for those who took the time and did that and had fun with it, have some patience for me, and on Thursday I'll make sure I take care of all those in the issue. What was your highlight from this trip? Wow, that's a good question, Irma. You know, I I was invited to a sweeper's house on Tuesday, the first night that I got in. Some of us got in early, and there's a group of us who have been friends. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of people, but there's you always have a couple people that you do things with, that you go to dinner with each trip, and a lot of you try and meet up and go to dinner every single trip. And uh, the host who put this on just did a phenomenal job. Um, just everything. It was just it was good people, good fun. We had some games, and it was such a fun, nice, casual event when none of us were tired yet to kick off the convention. I'm very appreciative that I was able to get to go do that, and I'm very glad I went and did it. But it was fun, and I got to ride to the dinner with one of my favorite sweepers. So I love talking um, to the couple and hearing their stories of some of their adventures, and asking questions, because again I am always looking information, learn from others, just like people do with me and ask me questions. But really good question. I like that question. The worst moment was I got pranked. I got pranked really, really good, and I know that I know that some of these are convention. We're trying to put most of the convention or convention specific till next year, and I'm trying not to cross over, just so you get Q&A today. But I got pranked really bad. We'll save that story for tomorrow. Um, that was probably my least favorite. Some of you guys have seen it or seen the video that unfortunately a few of you have. So, a lot of you guys are talking on the convention, so I know I lured a little bit towards the convention, but we'll kind of go back to general sweeps, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. I've been told if you give a cactus a hug, it brings you luck. You should try it and let us know. That's actually not true. You're not supposed to hug the cactus. You rub the cactus for good luck. So just an FYI. If I had to choose one class, what would you recommend? That's a really good question. Wow, Irma, you're like a plant in the iWIN Live with these great questions. People are going to think you work for me or something because they're so good. I really, if you're new to this and it's kind of overwhelming and you don't really totally get it yet, I think there's a very big learning curve. I would recommend 30 Things Every Sweeper Should Know. I think it's a phenomenal class. It took me a while to tweak it to how I wanted it, but it's a simple class. It's not a boring class. It's not, like searching to me, it's boring. It's a boring topic. It's hard to make searching entertaining. It takes a lot of time to be very successful searching. But I would say, new person, that. Next up, if you don't know Twitter and or Instagram, either one of those, you should. You should know enough to enter. If you don't know how to just enter, if you see a sweepstakes and you don't know how to enter, you need to learn one of those two things. That would definitely be my choice. Understanding odds are good for people who just like the math and the analytics, that type of person. And then skill, if you want to learn skill specifically, you do that. And then what searching is, again, searching's, there's people who subscribe and are members to iWIN because they don't want to do searching. So if you want to kind of start getting into searching, it would be searching. But top choice would be 30 days, especially if you're new. If you're more advanced and you already know Twitter and Instagram, Do you want to learn skill? Do you want to step into that pool and do those type of entries? That would be a good one. Otherwise, I'd probably go understanding odds. And then searching are for those who just, I'm determined to look for my own stuff and understand how that process begins. So they're all kind of unique and different for various reasons, which some of you guys used to know. A couple of years ago, I used to do the whole university. And what I was finding was people really like the bits and pieces. And that's why they're split up as individual classes all now. I've seen people enter same contest on their alternative name on Instagram. Is that acceptable? Giving them extra chances? Of course not. I mean, it's against the rules for most of those sweeps. Are there people who do it? Yeah. And what I always tell is there's for every one person that you catch doing something dumb like that, there's 10 others doing something more sophisticated to try and beat the system or get around it. You know, I I don't I don't ever worry about that piece or let it bother me or get to me. I go back to the winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. I know that if I do the work and I stick to it, I'll be fine. I'll win my share of nice prizes. I don't need to try and circumvent the system. I don't need to have 45 different accounts. Um, you're going to have people do it, unfortunately. And you're going to spend more time and effort on it. You can win more just by doing it. I know there's some people who that's what they're going to do. And I mean, I get it. I why it upsets me, I focus my attention on other things. Um, I dislike sleeps where you have to follow everyone they do on Instagram. I do too. I don't do them. It's that simple. I also won't, if I have to agree for 45 newsletters, I don't do it. If I read and the sweep will sell my information and basically take all the information I give them over all of their sweeps on all their platforms and then take that information and say, yeah, this guy has entered X amount of sweeps in X amount of time, I don't enter on that platform. So it comes down to personal choices. I don't, I just don't do it. Would a class on how to navigate the iWIN website could be done for new old subscribers? I do that. It's called iWIN 101/Discord. I do it about every 4 to 6 weeks. It's no cost at all for members. It is members only. And I announce it in the newsletter. And I usually give you about a 2-week notice and say, on this date, we're going to do an iWIN 101. Trying to look at my calendar. I would probably say the first, either the last week of July, first week of August, I will probably do another one. I usually do one a couple weeks after the convention for new people. But yeah, there's no cost to members. Yeah, iWin is definitely really good for someone with limited time. There's a gazillion sweepstakes out there. If you have unlimited time, I get it. I get it that you're going to enter some of these sweeps that are marginal or that have very little to no chance of winning just to enter them because you might win. I don't. I don't have that kind of time, and most people don't. Most people do not enter much more than 100 things a day. That is very, very, very true. And most people do not do it 6 or 7 days a week. So because of that, you really want to limit your time. And it's great to go to a free site that has 14,000 sweeps and they brag about how many they put on it. But how much time are you spending scrolling through all this stuff that you have zero interest in? I mean, we all know there's a site that gives away books. I don't need to put all 17,000 of their sweeps on my site to make it look like I have a big site. I want you to win the trip to Hawaii. I want you to win the boat, the car, the $10,000. I want you to focus on those. I don't want to put all these other things on there just to fill space so that you miss things that are really good. It's great. If you want to win books, send me a message. I'll send you the site. You can go win books. You can probably win yourself a whole library. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But most of those people know where to find that information or how to find that information. I just don't believe in putting filler sweeps on a site. There's a reason why every sweep is put on there. What was the best looking contest shirt that you saw at the convention? The best looking one, hands down, went to Wendy. Some of you guys saw it. I posted it on Instagram. It was a custom artwork of me in a race car, like a NASCAR, with me, the Sweeper University logo, the iWIN contest logo, and Roscoe with his head out the window on the other side of the car. Absolutely phenomenal. Really, really cool. She did a really cool shirt in San Diego. She was kind enough to actually send me the artwork overnight. But that was really cool. But there were some cool designs. There was one person who was doing different cups. There was another person who had bedazzled their iWIN shirt. There was another person who did the normal iWIN shirt but colorized it. There was another person who did like a tie-dyed version. Really cool stuff. So it always just blows my mind. There were probably things I missed too. There were things that were not iWIN associated. There was the one. It's a family. It's best friends, and it's also the aunt of one of the two, and they made like costumes. They did costumes each day, and so they had on the back of their shirt said "Winner, winner, chicken dinner," and I didn't see exactly what the first winner was, but the second winner was dressed up as a chicken, and the chicken dinner was dressed up as Colonel Sanders. Some of you guys probably saw it or saw pictures posted. I think they posted them on the iWIN site. Funny stuff. I mean, that's what you do. You just try and have fun with these. I'm from Sedona. Laura is still there. Went through a hailstorm in a hike. Well, tell your other half I said hello. Stay safe, and I hope you guys have a great, great time. Did anyone have the number 9s this year? You know what? I didn't get any because last time I got a bunch of them, but normally somebody has those. Club iWIN. Club iWIN is not tomorrow if you're watching. Those invites will probably go out later this week, but remember, Club iWIN is not this coming Tuesday for those in it. It's the following Tuesday. So we're doing third Tuesday of the month for the month of July will be Club iWIN. I know some of you guys are asking what Club iWIN is. Club iWIN is a private club inside of iWIN that meets virtual once a month. So you can only join it when somebody unjoins it. So in a couple months we'll have renewals, and if there's spots open, they will go to iWIN members. And it's just like a virtual club. We meet once a month. Let's see. Club iWIN doesn't have a waiting list. I've debated adding a waiting list. I know that a lot of you guys didn't get in it last time. Again, the current Club iWIN members will be getting a survey on some different things, and that will decide what changes we'll make for next year. Right now, though, we don't plan on doing a wait list this year. I will give you a date in advance and say that on this date, registrations will go live, and there's X amount available, and I imagine just like last time they would go very, very quickly. Last time we had two time slots, and they both lasted less than 2 hours. So, and I think now that people know about it, last time that was unannounced. So this time, with the forewarning, I think they could go very, very quickly. Tom, how can I take some of your sweepstakes that are on your newsletter but not necessarily in your current listings and save them? 98% of what's in the newsletter is on the site. I put it on the site too. The only ones I don't are the ones with the stars. And if they're starred, it's usually because it might end that day or might end the next day. Or it's just something that maybe I don't have the rules link yet, but I'm giving you some information about it. But it's very rare. There's probably less than 5 a month on average that are not actually on the site. Otherwise, anything in the newsletter I actually put on the site too, and you can sort by newsletter. Now, sometimes if the newsletter comes out a little bit early, they're not posted yet on the site because they're scheduled to post, and they typically post in the late afternoon once the issue is already out. I consider iWIN like a really good news site. They take the time to get the news right. It's not being first with iWIN. It's about being right and winning. I appreciate that. That's nice to hear. I want to be first too. I want to get that information to you as soon as possible. But I do want to make sure it's right. I want to make sure it's accurate, and I'll be the first to tell you when I'm not sure. I mean, there are times sweeps come out and I kind of scratch my head and go, I don't really know what they want. Yeah, somebody said their job gets in the way of sweeping. That happens. I can fully understand and relate. Some of you guys know I don't miss many days entering. And it always now seems to be on the convention, the week of the convention. I don't know how many entries I did over the last few days, but it wasn't a lot. I missed days. And I had only missed one day since the last convention week last year. So hopefully I only miss one between now and next year's convention, which is at the same time next year. Yeah, jobs get in the way. Jobs get in the way of a lot of things, but so that's why a lady was wearing a chicken head. Yes, that would probably be correct. I believe she was the same one that was Roscoe the day before, which was kind of fun. Last year, I had to pull over because I lost Wi-Fi while driving to work to get into Club iWIN. Impressive. Very, very impressive. These are some good questions. Well, here, we'll take a couple last questions. I appreciate all you guys watching today. We'll come back. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow. I'm going to go back to working on the site, getting things up and some more content up, following up on emails, messages, questions, things that I missed over the last few days. Again, thanks for those who came up and just even introduced themselves. Said hello, stop by the meet and greet. I really appreciate it. We'll talk more about that meet and greet tomorrow. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed sharing it virtually online with you, even though I'm sure that there were some people who wished I wasn't out hiding uniducks and was finding some great sweeps like I always do. No prizes waiting for me when I got home. So no, not like a big unboxing. And I was gone for almost a week. So there was a check for $100. There were 2 product coupons. I got 2 MasterCard Visas by email that I won. I feel like there was one other item that was a prize that showed up while I was gone that I feel like Lee already even snagged. Like not a big prize, but it was something she wanted. I don't remember. Lee actually, believe it or not, I guess opened the mail, or a little bit of the mail. Half the time she doesn't remember to get the mail because she never does it. So she literally does not realize that the mailbox is just at the front of our driveway because she never deals with it. I mean, for me, like, that's like the highlight of my day. I love going to get the mail. But now you have informed delivery, you kind of know what's going to be there. And then you're excited because something was in informed delivery that was a win, and you go out there and it is not there, and you are convinced that there has been a conspiracy that has stolen your $5 gift card. But really, it shows up the next day. How many times does that happen? So yeah, so no going. So, Linda, thanks for being part. Glad you enjoyed the Q&As. I know that we actually had to cut the Q&A short at the meet and greet. It was, we had been in there about an hour and a half, and I know some people wanted to get to dinner, but we stopped the questions, so that's why I wanted to come online and do one, and then we'll do one for conventions tomorrow. So, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of iWIN. You got your last chance, AZ Live. You got until I go to sleep tonight. AZ Live. You got 1 month added on for a new membership or renewal. If you're renewing, just make sure you're logged in and then do it. And if you screw it all up and can't figure it out, send me an email. I can do it manually if I had to. So, let's take this last question because it looks good about trips. When the rules say for a trip says it includes 4 flights from airport closest to winner's home, do they ever let you have 2 flights from another airport for family and don't live by the winner? That's a great question. We'll end with that. I can't speak for everyone, but I can't tell you how many times typically they'll let you fly from wherever. Example, some of you guys know I'm going to go play basketball in a couple months. What do the rules say? Winner and guest must fly from the same nearest airport, blah, blah, blah. No. My brother's going to fly from Cleveland. I'm going to fly from Orlando. We already have our time set. We'll meet in Atlanta. Of all the times that I've asked, there's only been one instance where they would not let me do it. And those who remember with the Bud Light cruises, they wanted you to travel together because transportation was together, check-in was together because that was your roommate. And that was the reason why. But typically, if you ask nicely, it's not even a party of 4 going 2 and 2. It can be just 2 people. And I've been on trips with other people that the 2 of us have flown. And some of you guys know when I do the lives about trip wins and everything, looking at your flights. Example, my brother and I looked at what flights we wanted because we wanted to get in as early as possible the first day of the event because we want to go and explore Atlanta. We want to do some things in Atlanta while we're there. So we gave them these flights, said these work, and then the opposite was true coming home. I knew he wanted to get home early so that he may be able to work that afternoon. So we're both flying out very early coming home. So we're trying to extend our time in the beginning and then shorten it at the end and get home so that he can possibly go to work that day. So have yourself a good night. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right back at here. And we will take your questions about conventions. So have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you guys all real soon.